At t equals 0, a particle at the origin travels at a speed of 20 meters per second, while another is 950 meters away and travels in its direction at a speed of minus 40 meters per second. The acceleration of both is 1 meters per second squared, but in opposite directions. A. Do they collide? B. If they collide, at what time? And C. Describe the sequence of events. Okay, so we have a situation here in which they are both traveling on a single direction, right? So we can think of it as a single axis. In this case, horizontal axis, because it's intuitive for us. Okay, and then what's the idea? They are both being accelerated into opposite directions. So they will come closer and closer to each other, but they will eventually, both of them will eventually stop and then change directions, right? So if we think about the particle, I'm going to call them, let's give them names. So let's give them, this will be my particle A, and this will be my particle B. Okay, so what happens with A? So A is going to be, it's coming at 20, so this is 20. And its acceleration is 1 meters per second squared in the opposite direction. So after 1 second, it will have traveled 20 meters, and its velocity is going to be 19, and then another 19 meters, and its velocity is 18, all the way until its velocity is 0. And then when we reach this point, now it starts going backwards, right, in this x direction that we created just here. And for B, same thing happens, right? So B is at 40, yes, it's coming at 40 meters per second on the opposite direction, so that's why it's negative. And then 1 second later, it's going to be at 39 after traveling 40 meters, and then it's going to be at 38, 37, and then at some point, it's going to stop and start traveling backwards. Okay, so the question is, while they're both going towards each other, do they actually touch? Do they collide or no? Okay, and how can we do this? Well, probably the easiest way is to try to visually understand what's going on. So we drew these two graphs. On this first one, I'm going to be, this is too thick, let's not, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to be plotting time on the x-axis and x as position on the y-axis. And I'm going to be doing this for, this one is going to be a graph for A, particle A, and over here I'll do it for B. Okay, so A starts down here, and it's going to go, it has a positive velocity, so it's going to go upwards, but then our acceleration is trying to make it go downwards, right? So acceleration eventually kicks in, and it goes like that. And then it follows its path, going, let's say on the negative direction of x, so that is going backwards in relationship to its starting point. Okay, B on the other hand, B is already starting at a position of 950, so it's already at 950 meters, so it's starting up here, and its velocity is negative, so it's going to start going downwards, right? So it's going to go downwards, but then its acceleration is trying to make it go upwards, and then eventually kicks in, and then it keeps going upwards. Okay, so the idea is, when I bring these two graphs together, do they touch or not, right? Because this can happen. Maybe they don't touch at all. Maybe it's a close call, but they don't touch. Maybe they just touch. So when they're about to stop, they touch, or maybe they touch early stages, right? Maybe you touch like so. Then obviously, if we have something like this, if this is our situation, then once they collide, then we're going to have the transfer of momentum from one to the other, and this won't happen afterwards because we're going to have a different change in position for both of them. Right? But those are the options, right? Either they're going to touch, or they're going to barely touch, which is still touching, right? Or they're not going to touch at all. There you go, like that, right? And we need to figure out if they do touch or don't touch, and then if they touch at what time. So let's first write down the equation that describes the position at any given time for A, right? So the position for A, what does that look like? Okay, we can go straight into the equation if we memorize that already, but if we haven't, we can always begin by basics, which is the acceleration is just how velocity changes with time, and we can integrate this in respect to time from 0 to t, t being the time in which the touch each other, right? So the moment in which A touches B, and then I can sub in where I have my velocity, can sub that in for how the position changes with time. And once again, I can integrate in respect to t, and then for x and the dx, and this is going to give me a t squared over 2 equals delta x minus v naught t, right? So which is, we can write once again as the position of A at any given time will be the original position of A minus v naught t, or plus v naught t, I should say, plus at squared over 2. Okay, so that you could have started with this if you memorized this already. The original position of A is 0, right? Because I'm going to do, obviously, to simplify our lives, I'm going to say that was a horrible dotted line. I'm going to say that this is 0. Right, so this is my position 0 for my x vector. So in other words, what this is saying is that x is a vector that leaves this origin here and travels all the way until it reaches one of our particles. So my xb, in this case here, where before anything starts, this is my xb, right? xb. It leaves the origin that I just created, which is exactly where A is starting, and it goes all the way to B. In my xa, same thing. It leaves the origin and goes all the way to A. But in this case, in the beginning, it's right on the origin. And so if it's right on the origin, that means that, mathematically, that means that at time equals 0, so before they start moving, the x naught position of A is 0, and the x naught position of B is 950, because they're 950 meters apart, right? So the general equation for position of A is 0 plus, what is the velocity of A? 20 meters per second times c, and negative 1, right? Because the acceleration is contrary to the growing of x, to the positive direction of x, t squared over 2. Okay, so this is the general equation for that describes the position of vector x at any given time. And we can do the same thing for B, right? So the position for B, so we can jump the steps from before and we can go straight into this. Plus v naught b t plus a t squared. Okay, and then we can sub in things for B. For the B, in this case, my x naught, this is going to be 950, right? 950 meters. This guy here is minus 40 meters per second. And my acceleration, this guy here, is positive 1 meters per second squared, right? And just so we're clear, let's go back to the image. Just so we're clear, get rid of these drawings here. Okay, I'm saying that anything that's going to the right is positive, anything that's going upwards is positive. Okay, so therefore A2 is positive, A1 is negative, V1 is positive, V2 is negative. Okay, that's why my V naught 1, remember, V naught A was negative, and that's why my V2, V naught 2 for B is negative. So this becomes the position of B in any given moment will be 950 minus 40t plus 1t squared over 2. Okay, so now we have an equation that describes the position of particle B at any given time. So what's the deal now? Well, the idea, we want to find out whether they touch or not. If they touch, they're going to be at the same position, right? So their x vectors will be the same at a given moment, right? So think about xa, particle A is here. If they're touching, that means that xb is also on the same spot, so that A and B are touching. So if they collide, xa equals xb. Right, so we can make the two things equal. So what would that look like? Well, that would look like just two things equal, right? 950 minus 40t plus t squared over 2, that's the one for b, has to be equal to 20t minus t squared over 2. And note that this t has to be the same, because if they collide, not only the x has to be the same, but at the same instance, right? So xa and xb are the same at the same time. Okay, so those t's are all the same. So we can rewrite this equation, make it less messy, and it will be something like t squared, right? Because we have two t squares there, so 2 times half squares, it's going to be 1 minus 60t plus 950 equals 0. Okay, so now we can solve for time and see first if we have a time that is within the real domain, and then if it is, then we can find what's the time that they collide, right? So we can solve part A and part B at the same time. And so you can use a calculator if you want, or you can just do b minus b, so 60 plus or minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2 times 1. Okay, and that will be 230 plus or minus 3600 minus 2 times 950, so 2 times 1900. That's negative 200. That's equal to 30 plus or minus negative 200. Okay, so if that's the case, then our two answers, positive and the negative one, will be 30 plus something I, imaginary number, 30 minus something I, right? 10 times square root of 2 I. So they're both of these do not belong to real numbers, right? Both complex numbers. So there's no moment there's no time in which the two x's are the same within the real realm. So they do not touch each other, right? That's the conclusion we come to. So they do not collide. Okay. If we tweak some things around, like if we made the acceleration of each half meters per second squared, then we would have t squared, and that would give a real number, and then we actually get a time in which they collide. But in this case, they don't collide. So at what time they collide? They don't. They don't collide. And then C describe the eventual. They don't collide. But we can do a bit better than that. Actually, I have a graph for us to visually see what's going on. Here's my graph. So remember we talked about the possibilities there? Well, we actually plotted the possibility, how this thing actually occurs. So on the y-axis you have the position, like we had before, like, so this is x, right? This is the vector x, and on the x-axis I have time, as time elapses. So in the beginning you can see that the slope is way greater for b, which is a blue one, than for a, because the velocity of b is 40, the magnitude is 40 meters per second, whereas the magnitude of velocity for a is 20, right? So that's why the slope is way greater. And then exactly like parabola is going to be a reality for both of them, right? So it goes all the way to this position here of 200 meters, right? After 20 seconds, then the velocity becomes 0, and the velocity becomes negative, so it starts to go backwards. Okay, And B, because it had a higher initial velocity, it takes longer for it to acquire velocity 0. It actually takes double, right? It's going to acquire velocity of 0 here in 40 seconds. So from this point onwards, it's going to start going upwards. And because we know that they're going in different directions, they're never going to touch. So that's why we actually have that answer as the complex numbers for time. In other words, there's not a time, as you can see, they get close over here at 30 seconds, but there's not a time in which these two guys are the same within the real numbers. Okay, any questions?